Here's one. That. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Ace. Wow, you're the first. Okay, let's just wait for more people. Yes, we're sort of on time. It's like 10:10. Sort of. Like, I've been chugging coffee the whole day, guys. So, yeah. See all that coffee marks? That's like throughout the whole day. Haven't changed my mug. Okay, there's 3. Let's wait a little bit more for the rest. 4. Come on, we're on time today. So we'll discuss audio. We'll continue on audio. Whilst waiting for everyone, let me just pull out my stuff. Okay, there's that. And then there's call it. Okay, chroma key. Chloe, let's play when you're happy and you know it. Clap your hands. Okay, y'all be playing over there in the chat. Meanwhile, I'm just waiting for people to show up. Either way, at like 10:15, I'm gonna start discussing stuff. So, you know, half the class or not, I'm going to start. It's okay to leave early as long as you show up now and then continue watching later. Let's see, let me just get this thing here. Okay, that's 1, 2. What is this? Ah, sound. Okay. All right. I'll wait like 3 minutes more. Yeah, 3 more minutes. This isn't very revealing, is it? This is fine. Like, there's actually a top here, guys. Just so you know. Let me tilt this down a little bit. There. Okay. Then you see that there's a top. I don't want it to look like I'm not wearing anything. So let's make sure that y'all can see that I actually have a top on. Okay. 6. Right. 2 more minutes and we're gonna start, like real start. I feel like most of you would be excited to learn about chroma key and keyframe today. But I'm gonna start off with the boring audio discussion first. If you missed her, you know, and you okay. Spoon is always full of energy in the chat. Please translate that to your videos. You know, put that energy onto your video making. That would be wonderful. And my computer is starting to hang on me. Oh, crud, man. 2.5 minutes left. Oh, no, wait. Sorry. 1.5 minutes left. I'm trying to find that one tidbit of information that I really want to share about doing chroma key. I have it on my head, but I need the source. I need to remember where I read it from because I don't want to be shooting out stuff without backing it up. Mary Poppins. Let's see if I can find it again. Somewhere here. I know it's somewhere here. Read it somewhere. I feel like I read it some years ago. Okay. All right. 1 minute left, guys. Where's everyone? Where's everyone? Come on. Come on, let's go. Like, I actually made this stream officially public today so that I don't have to keep giving links to people. Should be easier for people to join now if you're subscribed. So, okay, I'm gonna start. Hang on. What was I looking for again? Oh, yeah, that one tidbit of information. I think I found it. I feel that it's important for you to know it, even if you didn't see the film, and I'm gonna make you watch the film. Like, you really have to watch the film to understand what I'm talking about. I think it's like 1.5 hours long film, and you're gonna enjoy it. So that's gonna be like a homework for you, but not necessarily like required. Okay, let's start. Why are there two people left? Where did everyone go? What's it? Do I know this? No, it's not a song. It's not a song. I know, right? Spoon's energy is just like I feel like I feel like Spoon just woke up and chugged like 5 liters of coffee. Okay, it says my connection is unstable. It says your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try to reconnect your blah da 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 da. Oh, my internet. Hang on. Okay, I think I'm back. My internet is not cooperating very well today. All right, we're gonna start off with audio. Last time I talked about how audio makes or breaks your video, right? I also talked about how it adds a lot of punch, how important it is when you're creating your videos. So, what exactly is it um, about sound that makes it a key component to making videos? Wait a minute, what is Arya saying? Even if I joined, she should type faster. Okay, I'm gonna look at that later. Okay, I'm gonna hide that first. Okay, so yeah, actually, I was going to say it depends on the kind of like what Ace is saying. She finds audio first before she does anything. It really depends on what you are trying to make. Usually, when you're making something with a story already, like a drama or a short story, a skit, um, usually those kinds of content, you do your story first and find the audio later. But if you're doing something like a documentary or like a music video, fashion content, modeling stuff, then yeah, even I look for music to set the mood and the theme of what I'm going to be editing. Otherwise, it might make it more difficult for me to splice together, put together first my footage and then try to put the music in. And then I'm gonna be like, oh, how do I make this sync now? Or oh, how do I like make it blend with the music? So it is actually a good idea to find your music when you're going to create your content. But again, it depends on what your content is about and what you actually try to portray or what you want to express using your content. So if you're going to be making stories, it might be better for you to write your story first before looking for your music. So why is sound more important than most people think? So basically, it's more important than what most people think because it's it's what brings the experience of your videos to life. Like I mentioned last time, if you guys listen to ASMR, you would notice that your sensory gets triggered when just by hearing something, even if you close your eyes. That works the same way when you listen to music. You know, you close your eyes, or even if you don't close your eyes, but it sets the mood. It gives you that aura. It gives you a mood when you listen to music. So it works the same way when you put sound to your videos. And there are three main components of sound. There are three main types of sound components. How do you put it? Three types of sound components that you usually have in a video. Three types of sound components. Yeah, there you go. That would be human voice, you know, the ones that you use for talking, like this. Music, which is very frequent, and not it's not always music with lyrics, by the way. You know, sometimes it's just instrumental music, you know, to set the mood, set the theme, guide the audience whilst watching the video, and of course, my personal favorite, sound effects. So sound effects is for me one of the most exciting types of sound to play with, or one of the most exciting types of components that you can play with when you're making video. Because this is where you can create certain sounds that maybe not exist in real life. So this is where Foley comes in. Let me, I'm really gonna need more paper. I always say that, and I still never prepare enough paper. Ay, ay, ay. You know, like all the bloody time. I think I'm gonna end up like tearing up tons and tons and tons of paper for my book at some point. Okay. All right. So let me write that for you so that you know how it is spelled. At some point, you're going to hear it and you wouldn't know how to write it. So I will write it for you. This, okay, Foley. Foley is the creation of sound using other materials that does not come from the actual thing that you see. Again, this word is all about sound that you create for something, but that sounds like it, but the stuff that you use to make that sound isn't from the original item. So for example, you heard me tear a piece of paper from my book, right? It's like, but people, sound designers, Foley artists, you call them Foley artists, they can actually recreate that sound without using a paper and a book, like magic. So they put together certain, yeah, they put together different kinds of sound until they come up with that sound. It's an art form. It's amazing. You go into a studio with all sorts of things that you can't imagine that would actually make a sound that you hear in a movie. And they don't do it just for movies. They also do it. Yes, cats make that sound too. See, for all you know, you have to make that sound. So anyway, yeah, when you enter their studio, you're going to find like all sorts of equipment, things, items, household items. Usually, sometimes it's food, sometimes it's like cow skin. I'm not even kidding you guys. It's like cow skin, um, hooves of something. Like really, it's all just to make yeah, it's all just to make a particular sound. Like um when you watch sometimes when you watch documentaries on Discovery Channel or National Geographic, it's not always the real sound that you hear either. Like they will use the actual sound when they shot in the wild, but they will send it still to a Foley artist to add more to it to give that natural feel when you watch it. So sound effects really play a huge part, when you create a video that uses your auditory senses. Um, I did do a couple of videos for Zepeto like that, and I must say they did well because it hit FYP. So, I'm proud of it. I'm really proud of using sound effects. Um, Going back, human voices, obviously that's the most common one that you would find. Like what I'm doing now, I could be just talking, 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 and I wouldn't have a background music to accompany me when when most of the time when you do a vlog or when you do like a TV show, even when you watch a TV show, you would usually still hear background music. But if you're able to maintain a conversation or if you're able to maintain, your full train of thought, just going, 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 you can actually just go on with sound forever. There are a couple of films that you could watch or that you would find that actually does not have any background music but has a lot of talking. One of those films, I don't remember the title anymore, actually just has two people sitting in a coffee shop talking to each other for an hour plus. And you're just there, sitting there in the cinema, watching these two people, and you're just engrossed in the conversation. You're just there, like part of that table. And you're okay with it. That's how good the story is, and that's how good the delivery of the actors were. It's like watching a play without sound. I mean, without music. Music, as we all already know, is usually the thing that sets the mood in a movie or in a film or in a drama. And also, we all know that it's popular in making music videos. That's what music videos are made for. Music videos are basically promotional videos or advertisements, but the longer version for an artist or for the music track itself. So, if like, with the task that I got you guys to do, I actually placed a point there saying that you don't need to make a dance video. You also don't need a lot of talking heads, singing heads. That's because when you make a music video, essentially you are using that music as a vehicle for whatever else you want to do. So those people coming up to me and asking me, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I put this? Can I put that? Yo, it's okay to put it as long as it makes sense. Um, the essence of making a music video really relies on the director and the writer for that music video. So there are a lot of music videos, actual real music videos that you see now that sometimes don't even tie up to the song. And at the top of my head, the first person or first artist that I could think of that does that is Taylor Swift. Sometimes her music videos link up or match up to her song, and the other half of the time, it just doesn't. It's like this is the story and this is the music, but she makes it work. Let me read what's going on. Um, Someone's using her mom's account. So you're using your mom's phone. Good job. At least you're here. Okay. So going back to audio, back in the day when video started, sound synced to video or audio synced to video did not exist. So how did they put sound back then? It was like live. It was either they had a live performance whilst the video was playing, or it when sound recording started, they actually had to time it. When you hit play on the film machine projector, when you hit play on the projector, they have to hit play on the sound at exactly the same time so that it would sync. That's how it used to be before. But remember, before that, it was all silence. So that is why I got you guys to do, again, going back to basics, the back to basics task, so that you would understand what it's like to tell a story without having any talking, speaking, and whatsoever, and just being able to utilize music as a like vehicle for your story. I should make you guys do a video without sound at some point. Okay, so moving on, there are different ways to play with sound for your video. Um, that you can edit it, obviously, for it to perform better for your video. Like I said, and what we always say, audio makes or breaks your video. So if you have bad audio, it's not gonna help your video at all. Even if you have awesome video, you went out there, recorded some of the best shots you could ever take. I mean, even in real life, if you decided to like climb up a 10-foot ladder and take a wonderful shot of like the cityscape of New York or something like that, and then you use it in a video and all you can hear is the whoosh, 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 of the wind. That's and you can't hear the talking of the person, or you can't hear the music. Then yeah, you just kind of ruined that awesome shot. So when you want to utilize audio properly, you have to think of how you're going to use it first before you fool around with it. You have to know what it is, what it means to play around with audio. So first and foremost, obviously, you're going to have the usual way of just using music, right? Using audio. It's just there. There you go. You used it because it was already available. But you can also do things with what's given to you. For example, if wait, let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, so for example, if you're going to be having like a passing car in your video, I did this in my Zepetor video, the Hyundai one. You have a passing car and you want to put music, or you want people to hear that the car is passing. You can make the sound, you can make the music or the sound effects that you place go from where the car came from going to where the car's going. That's called panning. So remember, you have panning of camera movements, When you pan camera this way, right? It's the same thing. When you pan your sound, you can pan sound as well. And you usually do that when you want to make sound go from one ear to the other ear, so that people, when people hear it, immediately their brains go, oh, that sound's going from left to right or right to left, and I just did that the wrong way. Left to right and right to left. Yeah. So you can do that to have the person watching your video associate themselves with what they're seeing even better. They can connect more to your video. Um, another Another simple but very effective way to use sound in your videos is to have it echo, or have reverb, or have delay. So far I've said panning, and now there's echo, reverb, and delay. So what is it to echo or have your audio echo? When, for example, you have like footsteps, um, you have clapping in your video. I mean, there's a lot of poses in Zepetor that you can use this kind of very simple effect for your audio, just so that people can relate more to what they're seeing. Instead of just having this, which is very flat, you can actually have it reverb, so that there's like a repetition of that sound. Okay, reverb and echo, blah, 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 blah. Reverb and echo are not the same. So this is very technical, and for most of you, it would probably be like very confusing. But basically, reverb is the echo repeated. So echo is not what you hear like echo, 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 echo. No, it's not. Echo is like this full. Let me see if I have something that can help. I don't. But if you want to know what echo sounds like, which I assume most of you have heard, you can try to get something very deep and hollow and just say anything to it, and it's gonna have like that deep-ish, airy, whole sound. That's an echo. It makes people feel like they're in a huge room when they hear that. Now, reverb is echo times multiple times. Yeah, sorry, reverb is echo, 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 echo. It emphasizes the surrounding space more. It makes it feel more like, um, I would say it would feel like a concert hall when you have reverb. So, wait, let's see. Oh, right. And then there's delay. So using delay for your sound when you do your videos, um, usually we try our best to sync our audio with the video, but there are times that delaying the audio from the video would be essential. Maybe if you have someone drunk in your video, um, the audio and the video wouldn't necessarily match up, because you're trying to show your audience that that person's drunk. Or maybe if the person just woke up, even, usually when you just wake up, you're kind of like still lost in the world, and you're just like, what is going on? And you can't really match things up. So that's another way for you to use delay. Yeah, I have seen panorama mode in camera. Oh, panoramic. I made a passing car animation on my computer in school. Yeah, when you guys do these kinds of animation, and then finally can you understand how to use the sound and have it like have those cool effects properly, then apply it, it actually makes it a lot better. um okay, wait, I'm wait, who's the one using their mom's account? I'm gonna have to guess who you are. Oh, I think I know who you are. You said you sent your video. I think I know who you are now. Okay, so that is all about audio. When you make effects, and I'm going to use my own video again as an example because I'm proud of it. Yeah. Um, these are the kinds of things that I do when I'm bored. I'm not even kidding. I made this video because the post just dropped on Zepetor, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cute." So, oopsie, wait, I'm charging my phone. Okay, what course or you should get to be like video editor? You know, you can be a video editor even if you don't go to film school. Like, editing video is really a lot of just using your senses. Um, and sometimes a little bit of common sense. Uh, a lot of practice, a lot of patience, even. Because when you shoot and then you edit everything in real life, it's like sometimes you have to go through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos. I'm not even kidding. You know, back then, we didn't even have everything digital. We had things in tape. Okay, tape, guys, tape, tape. You know what tape looks like? It's this cube of thing. No, it's not a cube. It's this rectangular thing with the thing inside, the celluloid, the film inside, the tiny, tiny film. And when you need to edit something and you need to find it through all that, and you're just like sitting there watching, you're like, where's that part that I really need? How come I can't find it? And then you're gonna go back into the library of tapes and find about like 10 more tapes to go through. It was that hard before. So back then, yeah, you needed a lot of patience when you're a video editor. Nowadays, wait, you know, you've got everything, almost everything digitized. You have hard drives, servers, your cameras are also digital. Everything's a lot easier. So really, it's all about the eyes and how you see things, how you make sense of things for you to become a video editor. And a lot of practice, really a lot of practice. Like I used to practice just using YouTube videos. I downloaded them. Back then it was a lot easier to download, not like now. Um, and then I would just splice them together, making my own story. You still see a lot of people do that nowadays. I still see people doing like practice reels. Reels as in reels, you know, reels like, yeah, practice reels. A lot of people still do that so that, you know, they don't lose touch of how they edit or their style, things like that. So it's really not, you don't need to go to school per se for video editing. When you go to film school or when you go to a school specialized on making videos, like I did, I went to a film school. Some people go to art school, and some people actually take it in university as well. I took journalism in university and mass communications. And over there, what you really talk about is more in theory, how and kind of pretty much like what I discussed with you guys, how things happen, what are things all about. So that when you have the basics, it would be easier for you to like play around with. Most of the time, when you're a film student, there's a lot of There's a lot of analyzing going on. You analyze color, you analyze shots, you analyze your scripts, you analyze everything. So it depends on what you want to do, really, when you want to become a video editor. Okay, so going back, I'm gonna show you the one that got FYP. At least one of them. Is this loud enough? Y'all can hear it. Okay, here we go. So it's this one. Oh. All right, I'll do. Okay, so that one is in my feed in Zepetor. If you want to see it again, you could see it in my feed in Zepetor. That one, the only thing that was actual music there that I did not create was the guitar, the that track. Where can I get a white duck out in the fields unless you have snow? So um, basically, whoops, sorry. Let me. Basically, that video was all sound design. Oh, you're actually asking about the pose. Yeah, it's in photo booth. This pose is in photo booth. This duck thing, it's in photo booth. Um, I'm not sure if it's in camera as well, but I'm very sure it's in photo booth. So that video was really literally all sound design, all sound effects except for the guitar. The guitar was obviously a backing track. It was by this person called Rookie, and that's royalty free audio as well. But if you want to ask permission from them, you could just DM them. Um, so yeah, that is the kind of stuff that you can do when you play around with sound. Let's see what. Okay, all right. So let's move on from audio. We're gonna go move along to. You guys want to go straight to Chroma Key? I feel like you all just came online because of Chroma Key and Keyframe. I'm gonna bore you guys with backgrounds first. Okay, so yeah, I will talk about backgrounds first because until the latest task, some of you are still using backgrounds that have watermark. And when it has watermark, it usually means you got it off of Google and you may need to pay for it. That's why you can't use it without the watermark, right? Where to find good backgrounds that you don't need to like necessarily pay for. Um, Here's the thing: when we look for backgrounds online, right? Obviously, there's an artist involved in making those backgrounds. Personally, I prefer to use backgrounds that look drawn over actual photos. And if I do use a photo, I convert it to a drawing. I use an app. Where is that app? I use. Where is it? It's gone. E? Where did I put it? I have too many things going on my phone. And I can't even find it. Okay, here. Let me bring it out. and reinstall it because I uninstalled it. All right. So I use an app called Prisma when I use a like regular normal real life photo. I prefer to make it like I know Chroma key. Da, 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 da. I don't understand. So Irina's lost. We're gonna get there. Don't worry, okay? It's only 10:51. We started on time today. So we have a lot of time. Let me try to find a photo of something, of anything that I can turn into. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take a photo of something. Like my room. 1 second. Like that. Why isn't it taking a shot? Yo. Okay, there you go. So what this app does is gives you the capability of turning a real life photo into something that looks like it's hand drawn or at least computer generated. Um, Sometimes you just have to find that like perfect filter to turn it into something that looks more like a drawing. I prefer to do it that way because we are working with avatars, not real humans. And when you put an avatar in something that looks more like a drawing, it looks more blended in. It looks like in its own real world more than plugging in your avatar into an actual real life background. So when I do my videos, photos, etc., I have a habit of either looking for backgrounds that are already drawn or digitized, or I use this app called Prisma. It's this app right here. I use this app so that I could turn real life photos to something that looks almost hand drawn. Cartoon backgrounds for cartoon characters. Exactly, Celestina, you got that. It's exactly that. You have to make it blend in. Unless your style is kind of like hyper realistic, but that's if you can make your Zepeto look more realistic, then yes, it kind of works out. Oh, it looks like Celestina uses Prisma as well. So yeah, that's the app, Prisma. Um, if you can't find anything good enough at all, um, and then y'all come to me and ask me where can you find backgrounds, go to Pinterest. Pinterest. If Google is not your friend, Pinterest is your friend most of the time. Again, it's always good to credit the artist. So please try to credit your artists as much as possible. If you don't credit your artist, if you don't credit the artist, the original artist, at least, like, I don't know, don't tweak it too much because it's not yours. That's one. You're just kind of borrowing it. And for another, if you touch someone else's art without their permission, they can actually sue you. So at least if you borrow it and not touch it too much, then you could just say you're just using it for creative purposes and you're not claiming it to be yours, and you could apologize and credit them later on. Just credit, okay? Credit, 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 credit. Always give credit for everything. Okay, moving on. So that's looking for backgrounds. Please do your best again to not use copyrighted material and try not to have watermarks on your backgrounds. Yeah. Okay. So moving on with Chroma key. So I know most of you use like CapCut. Half of you use CapCut a lot. The other half uses something else because CapCut is not available in your country. So video. I use a lot of Adobe stuff because that's what I use for work. Okay, so Spoon is shouting because her caps lock is stuck. And then Rinny's chat is stuck. Y'all stuck. So this is the bunch of stuff that I use. Usually in a certain particular order. So for photos, as of recent, I've started using Ibis Paint. But for the longest time ever, I was always, yeah, it's a bit blurry because it ain't focusing on my phone. You know how vloggers do it? It's like they gotta do this kind of thing. Yeah, I think that's working. I'm not sure. Lol. Okay, so for photos, ever since, guys, it's already in front of you. Okay. For photos, I always used to use Photoshop, Photoshop Fix, and Lightroom. And this little guy here to layer. There's this layering app because I can't layer using Adobe. So it was a tedious process that I already got used to for a long time, which was absolutely fine for me. Until I decided to teach you guys and be your mentor, and all of you are like not Photoshop users. Hence, I'm back to this guy here, Ibis Paint. So you would notice that I have this one here. Wait, what is that again? Snapseed? Okay, whoop. Meow. Going back. Okay. You notice that I have Snapseed over there. Snapseed I use sometimes, only to tweak like color. Actually, no, it's used really for filters. I use it for filters, but I don't use it anymore. It does a very good job at perspective. So if I can't fix perspective properly using any of my Adobe apps over here, I throw it into Snapseed, fix the perspective, and then throw it back to Photoshop. Um, Wait, yeah, okay. Spoon is like shouting all my apps right now. Yes, so as you can see, these are for photo. Down here are for video. Before I used a light motion, I used to use, it starts with an S. Do I still have it? Yes, I still have it. I used to use Splice. I was using Splice for a very long time and Adobe Premiere Rush. I stopped using Premiere Rush because it takes up a lot of space and because, yeah, it just doesn't do everything that I needed to do anymore. I only use a light motion to practice for shadows because I don't really use shadows for my videos, but I might start using shadows now. I've been practicing using it. I don't really use it. Most of the time, I use Video Leap for splicing and cutting, putting together my video. And then I throw it into InShot for audio. I use InShot mainly for playing around with sound because it works very well with sound. I can't do that on Video Leap. Video Leap is like, yeah, for video. So what one can do is what the other one cannot do. That's why I have both of them. If I'm on my computer, on the other hand, I'm usually using Premiere Pro to edit my video, and then Adobe Audition to edit or fix my audio. And because Premiere Pro and Audition are both from the Adobe family, it's very easy for me to link them and just throw them around back and forth. I can also do some animations on Photoshop on the computer, but that's usually for GIFs, GIFs, GIFs. Graphics, something, I don't remember. Okay, GIF. If it starts with a G, then it's a GIF. Graphics. Anyway, yeah, it looks like Spoon has the same stuff that I use most of the time. So there you go. It's pretty similar actually. It really depends like what you want to do or how you're used to it. Because I got used to like jumping from one app to another, it's not really that bad for me. But when other people watch me do my work, they're just like lost sometimes or most of the time, because it's like, I went from this app to that app to that app, especially for my photos. um I don't stick to one app, because again, it's not the tools that make the artist, it's the artist that utilizes the tools to make their art. So you can have 500 different apps and 500 different tools to use to make one awesome art piece, and that's fine. It works for you. So yeah. Um, so going back, the reason why I showed that is because to use Chroma Key, I use Videoly almost all the time. Alight Motion does a very good job with Chroma Key as well. So wait, I'm reading what Irina's saying. Oh no, wait. Yeah, it's Irina. Irina has only PixArt. Um, it's okay to use only PixArt. Pixar can actually do a lot of things already as it is. It's just a little limited for people who want to do more. So it's either you try to venture out and figure out what else Pixar can do for you that would give you the results that you really want, or you just go to a different tool, use a different tool, use a different app to help you do what you want, to see, what you want to happen. So going back, Chroma Key. So I use Videoleap most of the time, but I must admit, Alight Motion does a very good job with Chroma Key as well. Personally, I prefer using the computer when I do Chroma Key because it allows me to zoom in and actually see if there's still like tiny itty bitty little green things left. It also allows me to have more functions when I use the computer. But most of my videos before, wait, let me check. Most of my videos, was it before or after? Wait, I'm logged into my baby account. Let me get out of this one and get back to my own account. Whoopsie. This is my avatar for my baby. Ain't she cute? She's adorable, isn't she? Okay. So I'm gonna log out of that one and I'm gonna go on my own. That's okie dokie. There you go. I saw someone submit a music video with me in it, and I'm literally wearing. Guys, I'm literally wearing a sweater. Okay, I'm legit wearing house clothes. Like, if you need me for your video, tell me and I'll get dressed. That's why you caught me candid at home, kind of thing. Okay. Going back. All my videos up until this one were all made on my phone using Video Leap. This was still on my phone. This is part phone, part computer. And then this is already computer. Is this computer? So yes. Hyundai was computer. Tutorials I usually do on my phone. So I don't do tutorials using my computer. But up until this video here, everything above it was done using the computer already. I'm not sure why it says that the live chat has ended. I didn't even put slow mode, whatever it is. I didn't put it on, so y'all should be able to talk. Yes, Spoon, I can see everything that you're saying, but if I read all of that, I won't be able to discuss what I need to discuss anymore. So, did it happen with someone else too? What? Okay, going back. So why do I use a computer? That's because it makes it a lot easier for me to see and make it clean, like, really remove most of the green screen or the chroma key. So going back, here's Video Leap. This is what I used to use before I used computer a lot. And I'm going to put an example. Let me throw down a background first. Okay, let's use this for a background. Yeah. Okay. Too bad we don't have screen sharing. Actually, you know what? It's a good thing there's no screen sharing. Who's shiny? That's Xiao. Shine is Xiao. Okay, so we have our background. Now, the moment you set your background in whatever app you use for video editing, check your aspect ratio. What is the aspect ratio? The size of your video. Make sure that the size of, what you see here is the actual size of the video that you want. Because someone sent in a video that was, I think, in like 2:3 aspect ratio. It was like a smaller rectangle. Or was it 4:5? It wasn't 16:9. This is, if I believe this one is 16:9. So to fix that, on Video Leap, it's the canvas. Okay, so there's 16:9, which is the usual standard used nowadays because of the wide screens that most television sets are. Ooh, I still call it television set. I'm that old. Back then, the standard was 4:3. So 4:3 was the old standard. It was like a smaller rectangle, fatter even. And then, of course, there's the 9:16, which is your typical hand phone display. There's a 3:4, which is usually like the size of your photographs. I need to switch messages off, which is usually the size of like an old photograph. That's 4:3. Sorry, 3:4. And there's also 4:5, which is like, wait a minute, I got that flipped around. 3:4 is portrait of the television set. 4:5 is the old photograph. Now you might find 2.35:1. This is panoramic. This is extra, extra long. Longer than your widescreen. Where did you get the background? Pinterest. Most of my backgrounds that I find, if I don't find it in like DeviantArt or Google, no, sorry. If I don't find it on Google or Pinterest, I find it on DeviantArt. DeviantArt is an art. Most of the time, people would post their art there that's free for everyone to use, as long as you credit them. Sometimes you have to pay for some of them if you want to pay. But yeah, there are a lot of places for you to look for good backgrounds. So going back to this one, let's go stick with 16 by 9. Now, using Video Leap, you go to Mixer, and it pulls up your photos. So let me just find one with a green background on it. Green background. Aha. I'm gonna use this one of V. Actually, I think, you know what? I have my own. Let me put let me put one of myself instead. Okay. So there I am, right? To get rid of this, you go on if I'm not mistaken, in most apps, it's called Chroma. So over here, you just tap Chroma, and then it's going to ask you what color you're trying to eliminate, right? You drag that picker to the green part, and voila, the green disappears. But there's a line. There's a line around me, a green line, right? And you want to eliminate that as well. So that's when you start playing with intensity and shadow. So what does shadow do? It actually adds to the depth of the green color around your character. That helps you in making it more precise. This is Video Leap. Okay, so look what's happening here. Okay, I bring the intensity down. My green color is back. Right? How am I gonna do this with it? I need it to focus. Okay, right? And then I'm gonna bring the shadow down as well. Here's what happens when my shadow is all the way to 0 and I bring my intensity up. See what happens over there? Look at the ribbon. Like, things start getting eaten up. So what the shadow does is it helps in filling up gaps that would have been eaten up by the green screen. So what exactly is chroma key? Okay, let's tackle that now. Chroma key is basically, and really quite frankly, as simple as putting a person in front of a green or blue screen. So why green and not yellow, not red, not purple, not pink, not any other color under the sun? That's because green is the least possible available pigment in a skin color. So green is not common in your skin. So that's the reason why green is commonly used for the background if you want to do chroma key. So chroma keying is literally taking out a particular color from a picture using an app or a software on your computer, whatever it is. And because, again, green is not available in your skin, that's the most popular one. Now, sometimes your character needs to wear green. Like, no choice, die must wear green. Okay? What color do you use now? Because if you have a green background, you're out of options, right? Wrong. You can use blue too, because blue is also not really available in a person's skin purple than blue. But yeah, blue is also not as is not a pigment really much available in skin color. That's why the second most common color to be used for chroma key is blue. Usually a like slightly darker shade of blue. Yeah. Um, it also depends on like what the setting is of your background. If you're using green, no, sorry, if your background is daytime, like this one, yeah. If your background is daytime, like this one, then it's best to use green because the green kind of just disappears in the brightness. If you're on nighttime, it's usually best to use blue because using green sometimes I mean usually it's too bright and it would leave a line around your character, and this happens in real life too when you try green screen in real life and you're you're using that particular shot for a night background. You will notice that the person that you're trying to separate from the green has that bright around them, and you're going to start struggling on how to make it look natural, especially if the person has like frizzy hair like me, or like those really super curly hair that has a lot of hair sticking out. Yeah, that's going to be a bit troublesome. So there are two very popular colors. Now there is another color that could work if you get the color right. And that is why I was looking for that small detail that I wanted to share with you. Because Disney, as in Walt Disney, had a breakthrough with that particular method. Um, so back then, doing chroma key was obviously, a new thing, and everyone was practically doing it. Now, if you watch Mary Poppins, which is a Disney movie from I forgot when, my facts are like everywhere right now. Okay, so this Disney created Mary Poppins back in 1964. So back in 1964, they were already doing this whole chroma key thing, and they did not use green or blue because the clothes of the characters had green and blue. Obviously, if you use green and blue, then those parts of their clothes would also disappear, um, and that's not good. So, what they actually did was look for a particular shade that they could use so that it could be easily eliminated but not have to sacrifice using green or using blue. And that was a very particular orange yellowish color. Um, it's so particular that they had to get that color right every single time. Um, it's very similar to like that orange yellow orange color that you see in street lamps, like when you're driving out at night and then the street lamps are like kind of yellow orangey. The color of that is similar to what they had to use for Mary Poppins, and that's because that kind of yellow orange wasn't it was very easy to like set up like, okay, it's this particular temperature and then take it out. It's hard to explain like in very simple terms, but the technicality of it was there, and that is the only other color that really works well when you try to chroma key, and that color is also available in your skin tone. If you go to the BTS YouTube channel, they did the permission to dance challenge. And when you try to chroma key the orange in their background, it's actually doable. the orange in their background does not bleed to their skin, and you can actually remove them and put them somewhere else. Take the orange from the back, and yeah, that is another like the key there really is because the BTS members are fair skin, so that particular orange that they used in the background is not really available in their skin tone. So when you chroma key the orange from the background, their skin they're still there. I tested it. Some of my friends tested it as well with every single BTS member, and yeah, the orange works. So sometimes when green or blue doesn't work for you, you're just going to have to test with other colors for you to be able to chroma key out the background as cleanly as possible. Um, Another color that a friend of mine used is purple, a particular shade of purple. And that is what I use or what we used for this video. Wait, whoop. There. For this one, the background of this one was actually a particular shade of purple that he found for us to be able to work with all the characters because we can't use green and we can't use blue for some reason. So he got them to use purple instead. Oh, because of eyes. Some of the characters have blue eyes and one character has green eyes. So to just make it all equal, he found a particular purple and got them to use all that purple. So it's not really like fixed that when you say you must use green or blue for chroma key, then you're kind of stuck with that. That is the general like rule for using chroma key, but if it doesn't work for you, then go ahead and try another color as long as it works, then it works. So we're going back to Video Leap. With this one, it's green. I've used blue only like a few times really ever in my editing career. I don't like using blue because it's a little harder for me to clean out when I need it to clean out. So again, when you're using chroma key, it's best to try to clean out as much green as you can. Try to clean out as much green as you can. Sometimes you will run into trouble with cleaning out the green, such as, wait, let me get my face out of there. Let me delete that one. Ding, that's gone. Let me get an example of one that I did have trouble a few months back. Oh, okay, here you go. It's this one. Okay, so this one, when I used it for Hyundai, my main issue really was parts of my body and parts of my motorcycle would disappear when I use chroma key. Look, okay. Here you go. So here's what happens. Like, and if I keep the intensity low enough to keep my body, there are parts that you can still see that I'm glitching out, or like I can't even see the smoke. So my problem here was the smoke. The smoke was not showing at all using the green screen. That was a bit troublesome. So that's when you start playing around with the shadow and the intensity just to find that nice so that's when you start playing around with the shadow and the intensity just to find that nice combination to get it out. Now, if it really, really, really doesn't work out, then you try using blue. And if it really, really, really still doesn't work out, and that shot that you need it for is not a dynamic shot, it's not moving, and then shoot, I had no choice. Like I just really had no more choice. So there are ways around it, even if it's not the usual ways that you know of. But yeah, finally, the chat is not lag. I wish I knew if it was lagging or not, but it doesn't say. Um, so that is chroma key. Now, what is keyframe? How do you make things actually move from left to right, back to front, big to small, blah, 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 blah. All those sizing things, moving things, animated things, that is all mostly done with keyframe. So what is keyframe? Keyframe is most of the time that diamond that you see in most of your apps. That is what is used for keyframe. Now, keyframing is literally from point A to point B, just like what we discussed in, I forgot which class was that? Was that lesson 3? When someone asked about it. So when is it good to use keyframe and when is it not good to use keyframe? Usually it's good to use keyframe when you're trying to move something that's already moving anyway. For example, like this motorbike here. So it's already dynamic, it's already moving. And if I wanted it to just, you know, move better, I could keyframe it, right? When is it not good usually to use keyframe? When you're using it on a still photo, on a pose that's not moving, and then you make it move for no use, no apparent reason. I've seen a lot of people do that. Like there's this like one photo that just moves like this. And you're just like, why? When everything else is not moving. So you have to know what you're doing with your keyframes. Like, are you showing that they're walking? Are you showing that it's part of another picture that's moving, like in that music video that I showed you guys, the build a bee one. Um, you can put the head on top and keyframe the head along with the line like that. So it's okay to use a frozen or still pose for that one. Um, like I always say, make sure that the stuff that you do in your videos actually makes sense to the extent that you look at it without hearing it and you know what's going on. So use keyframe when you need it. There, there was this video that I saw just yesterday that a friend of mine showed, and she edits for music videos. Zepetor music videos, posts them on Instagram, and she gets paid commission for it. And I have a lot of issues with it because she overuses keyframe. A little too much to the extent that I'm watching an earthquake happen when there are dancers right there and I can't focus on the dancers because the whole thing is just doing this all the time. And I'm like, how am I supposed to watch what I'm watching if I'm trying to catch trying to catch the shot or trying to catch the scene? So when you use keyframe, use it when you need to use it. Don't try to make something that people won't be able to watch or understand. Okay? I believe. Wait, Spoon, are you seriously asking me that question right now? Like, what's keyframe? You're joking, right? You are joking. I just explained it. I just explained what keyframe is. You've got to be kidding me. What's a keyframe? Okay, so if you look at your editing app again, basically, okay, let me, okay, all right. Okay, no, tap, okay. Keyframe is basically, okay, no, tap, okay. Keyframe is basically putting that tiny diamond dot, at this at the part of your video to put a start and end to whatever animation that you want to do to your video. Let me make this clear. Keyframe is not just for moving things. Keyframe can be used for like changing color, changing the location of one thing, changing sound, changing opacity of your video. Keyframe can be used for so many things. I'm gonna demonstrate. Okay. For example, my background, I will use it on my background, okay? For example, I want my background to go from this color. So I'm gonna put my diamond over there to mark that this is the start of my keyframe. You just tap on it. Just tap on the diamond. That's it. Okay, tapping on the diamond means you're putting a mark on that frame, on that one frame of the entire video. So you tap on that diamond over there. It doesn't matter what app you're using. In most apps, it's always a diamond. Tap on it. Voila, you have a mark, right? Go to the end part. Don't touch it yet. Don't edit, don't anything. Go to the end part of what you want to happen to your video or photo or whatsoever. You tap on your keyframe. You tap on that button again, which I accidentally did not tap. Oh, I did. Whoops. And it leaves another mark, right? So after it leaves that other mark, that's when you start fixing what you want to happen in that mark. So let's say, for example, I want this background to turn into what color should I make it? I'm gonna make it rainbow. Yeah, that looks good. No, you know what? I'm gonna make it like pinkish purplish. Bright pinkish purplish. Very vibrant. Slightly desaturated. Down exposure. Okay, this is the end part of my keyframe. All right? So remember what my original photo looked like? We go back to it. Where is it? Here's my first keyframe. Here's my first point. And it's all bright, colorful. And then I move it to my end point, which has gone missing. There you go. This is my end point, which turns my background into this color. So keyframe can be used for anything, not just movement. It can be used for changing color, can be used for changing size. It can be used for really practically anything. Let's see. I'm going to change the size of this video. So I'm going to put another keyframe mark over there, the start. Put that there. Now there's a diamond. All right. Take it all the way to the end. all the way to the end. And then I'm going to put another keyframe. And then I'm going to make it smaller this time. So I'm going to adjust, I'm going to transform it and make it a lot smaller. And then, let's see. Let's see. I'm going to make it a lot smaller. So as you can see, it's the size of an ant now, right there. So that's what, there, can you see the red rectangle? That red rectangle shows that my keyframe is working. It went from this original size down to making it smaller. Now, how do you use it to make it move? From that keyframe, okay, again, you can put a keyframe, that's the start, and then you can just drag your end part. So now it's up there. And you will see that it moves by itself. So that's how you play around with keyframe. Okay? So that's keyframe. You can experiment with it as much as you want, make things move. That's how you make people walk. I'm gonna like delete this and I'm gonna put someone walking so that you can see how people walk, how I make people walk. Let me just delete this. And then I'm going to put feet. Wait a minute, this is the one. Okay. I need walking people. Hang on. Oh, okay, here you go. So I have all this. I'm going to find someone who's walking. Okay. Now we have a guy whom I will make walk from, let me trim that because I actually do have him walking sideways. So I'm gonna trim that and use the one of him walking sideways to demonstrate easily how to keyframe people walking. Okay, so I'm gonna put him here on one side first. I'm gonna take my chroma and suck out all that green. Try to make him big enough for everyone to see, even if it doesn't look good. He looks like a giant now outside the school. He doesn't really belong there. Let me clean out that chroma a little bit, just so that it looks a little bit more pleasing. Okay. All right. So now we have our guy model over here. We tap on the keyframe thing, the diamond. Ding! Go to the end part of your video or whatever. Now, here's the thing. When you're trying to animate walking people with keyframe, you have to see the timing. You can't just go point, and then drag and then automatically see them moving at the right pace. You have to see if they're actually walking at the right pace. If they're too slow, then you have to move that keyframe a little bit behind. Yeah. If they're too fast, you have to move it forward so that they slow down. So I went all the way to the end of the here where he walks before he turns, right? I put a keyframe there, right there. You see that diamond now? Okay, I have an endpoint, right? Whilst it's at that endpoint, you take your lovely human. Why is he? Oh, yeah, I tapped him already. You take your lovely human and take him all the way to the endpoint you want him to be at, which is somewhere about here. Okay, so now you're gonna see him walk. There you go. He's walking, but he's too slow. And this is what I was talking about. When he's too slow, it looks really weird, like he's like doing a semi-moonwalk. How do you fix that? Okay, how do you fix that? You undo everything first. First of all, you have to undo everything. Put him back to where he started. Undo, undo, undo. On other apps, you could just drag the keyframe, but on Video Leap, you can't just drag the keyframe. You have to like undo it. So you can move, whoopsie, you can move like a little bit before your previous keyframe like that. Okay. Put your endpoint again, ding, and then move your lovely human again. There you go. Now, let's see if he walks a bit faster. He looks like he's walking more at pace now. Like, it looks a little bit more natural now, right? So, what is the reason behind this and why does it work that way? Because it's mainly more like the steps of the person, the what do you call that thing? You know, when a person walks, basically when a person steps, you have to match that when they walk. That's why the distance between your first point and your last point, it actually shrinks when you put the keyframe closer to each other, which stretches it out to make it walk further. That's a little bit of physics. It's a little harder to explain. So all I can do, because it's a bit difficult to explain, all I can do is demonstrate how you can fix that issue. So all I can do, because it's a bit difficult to explain, all I can do is demonstrate how you can fix that issue of, you know, your character not walking fast enough. So for me, he's still not walking fast enough. So I'm going to move it even closer to the first keyframe. So by now it's like all the way there. And then I'm gonna move him again to where I want him, which is all the way there. I'm even going to fix his size so that he's going to be like proportional to the gates as he originally was. He's proportional to the original size. And then I'm going to test it and see if he walks properly now. There you go. Looks a lot more natural, right? When he's walking that way. So if the boy was not walking sideways before, will it still be able to happen? Yes. Basically, if he's walking straight, you mean like this? If he's walking straight like this, if you could still make him keyframe, of course you can. You can totally make him keyframe. You can make, if you have a person walking straight forward this way, you can make it from small to big. You can keyframe him from small to big. Let me just stretch out my background so that I have a lot to work with. Okay, here's an example. So my guy is here right now, like this, right? And he's walking forwards, right? I'm gonna put a keyframe here. There's my first mark, there's my starting point. I'm gonna put another keyframe here. There's my endpoint. I'm gonna zoom him in, make him bigger. Whoops, 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 whoops. Hang on, handsome. Not too much. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna zoom him in this way to show that he's walking towards me. So I'm gonna go back to my first keyframe and test it out. Here you go, look. And voila, he's walking towards you now. So you can do it. You can do it with really anything. You don't need to use it only with videos. You can do it with photos. You can make photos move as well. For example, my background, if I want it to move from left to right, keyframe over there, and then my end keyframe over here, and then make it move. Wait a minute, that makes the guy look like he's walking backward. I'll do that again. I'll make it, I'll go backwards. This way, this way, this way, this way, this way. All right. So for example, if I want my background to move, if he wasn't walking at all, as in if it was just a photo, yeah, even if it's just a photo, like look at the background. Okay, the background is just a photo. Imagine that this is just a photo of any pose, not moving, not walking, not nothing, not anything. Okay, keyframe start, keyframe end. It's the same concept. You put a keyframe for your start, you put a keyframe for your end, and then move whatever you want to move or change the color of whatever. Remember, our background wasn't this color earlier. Remember, it was green. And I used keyframes to change the color as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, so if it was just a photo, could you still make it walk? Yes, but not on your phone. Unless you have some sort of magical app that could make it walk. So far, there is an app that can make faces talk or sing or something like that, but none yet that I've seen that can make things walk. So yes, you can actually make a still photo move like animated and make it walk. But you need your computer for that, and you need to learn After Effects or as basic as using Adobe Premiere Pro. Or if you have Final Cut Pro, you can tinker around with that, but it's going to take a little bit longer. So you have your computer, and what you need now is to install either After Effects and tinker around with that, or you could use Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro and play around with cropping or masking. Can play around with masking and keyframing. So it is doable. I have seen someone do it on Zepetor. It was a guy riding a bicycle. And you know the bicycle pose, it's a frozen pose. And the legs are just like this, right? The legs are just like this. So what he did was actually take the legs out, mask it, and then frame by frame, one frame at a time, make it do this. So it's like, you know, it takes a lot of time to do it, a lot of patience as well. No. Your question was if you were using a photo and making it move, right? Before the bicycle with the moving legs happened, that didn't exist before. The bicycle with the moving legs didn't exist before. But now there is. There is a bicycle with a moving post, the one with the grass and everything, and the person goes this. Yeah, that one exists now. Back then, it didn't exist. There was only a person in a bicycle, and that was it. And the only way that you can make it move was literally putting it in your computer and masking it and making the legs move by itself. That was like last year, before the post with the moving legs came out. People were just like, how do you do that? And of course, the only answer to that really was using your computer. So yeah, you can do it, but not on your phone, unless you can, unless you have enough patience to like do it on your phone. Okay, so that's keyframing and that's chroma key. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about with you guys is shadows, which you cannot easily do on just any app on your phone. Yes, Spoon, right now there are bicycle poses that have moving legs, moving arms, moving heads, moving everything. I'm talking about the time before y'all came to Zepetor, and there were not a lot of moving poses back then. Um, if you're going to try to use a light motion to make things move, then yeah, that's gonna take a very long time to mask and keyframe every single frame. When we did it back then, when they did it back then, literally it was frame by frame. And when you say frame by frame, that means 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. One bloody photo at a time just to make things move. Not even kidding. So now we're going to talk about shadows. And there's really only one app on your phones that's available right now for free that you can play around with shadows properly. And that's a light motion. So when you use a light motion, if you're on a tablet, there are some restrictions because not all tablets are able to accommodate um, certain file formats, video formats, or codec. It's just it's just the way it is. So one of you guys came to me and asked me about that problem, and I did do my research everywhere. I asked everyone I could ask. I even made a poll on my Instagram asking for people who are using it on tablets. And really, the only people who could use it on their tablet are iPad users because it supports the codec. Yes, I know it's you, Spoon. I can't keep name dropping you, can I? So, basically, if you're using um, a different tablet or a different um, phone. No, phones. Most phones can use a light motion. It's really the tablets that have issues. So the two people that I talked to were both on iPads, and they had the exact same settings that you would find on an iPhone or any other Android phone. Um, but it turns out when I got another friend to test a light motion on um, her tablet was an I forgot what brand. But basically, she can't even use it. Like, she can use it, but there, like, sometimes when she wants to use a particular video with a particular file format, she can't even import it. So it's really the tablets that have an issue with the light motion, and not a lot of people use tablets anyway to use the app. So it's not made for all, unless you could like bypass it somehow by routing your tablet and figuring out the settings for yourself, then yeah. So you don't need to buy an iPad. You can just go over to a phone and use a phone instead. That's the easiest option. If your mom has a phone, your dad has a phone, just borrow their phone, install a light motion there, and it will be easier for you to use. When you use a light motion, you also have to like take note of what you're making, like what is the project you're making for, because you can export to like even as big as 4K, like super high definition, high resolution, high everything. And we're doing Zepeto, guys. You don't really need that. You don't need it to be that high. When you upload to Zepeto, even when you try to upload something as high as 4K, 2K, it's gonna make your Zepeto crash. Like the app just stops and crash, and you can't upload. And you're going to have, what are these things that I'm talking about? What is 720p? What is 1080p? What is 4K? What is 2K? It's literally the size of the video itself. Like, if you had earlier 9 by 16, which is the size of your frame, okay, the 1080, 720, and whatever else, that's the size of the actual video and how big the resolution is. So if you're going to export something at 2K or 4K, usually you do that for something that's going to be blown up in a projector to the wall. Or if you're using a like HD TV, that's what you use those for. But if you're going to be just uploading for Zepeto with avatars in it that, you know, by the way, when you save them are standard to 30 frames per second most of the time, and also most of the time at maximum 1080p, then you don't really need 4K. Um, so when you use, your editing apps or whatsoever, for saving your videos and uploading stuff, you have to keep in mind what you're doing it for. And you also can save some storage space on your phone and not eat up all the storage like me, because I'm full storage all the time. So at best, it would be great to upload at 1080p. Um, Sometimes if it's a little too big still, you could go down to 720p, but don't go anywhere below 720p because that will be a little bit more standard resolution, standard definition. That's what you usually get in your television sets. So 720, 480 to 720p is what you usually get in your television sets if you're not on an HD TV. Um, what else? Oh, right. And what is the difference with exporting 60 frames per second and 30 frames per second? I've already discussed that last time in our last live lesson. 60 frames per second is literally adding more frames to your video to have it smoother animation, smoother everything, smoother movement, because essentially you're putting more frames of a photo to show that 1 second. So it becomes a lot smoother. It looks more fluid. Personally, my settings are most of the time 60 frames per second at 1080p exported to MP4, because MP4 is more widely recognized than MOV. MOV is standard for most Mac devices, most Apple devices. Sorry, not Mac devices, Apple devices. The MOV is actually an Apple file format. So it is a very high resolution file format. It can even house until 8K. Um, so if you're going to export something to make sure that it will upload everywhere, then it's best to go with MP4 because it's the most widely recognized file format. Sometimes when you use Windows to edit, it will spit out AVI. If you guys are familiar, if you guys still know what .avi is. That is also a valid file format, but it's not usually readable on some devices. So it's always best to export to .mp4 for video and .mp3 for audio. Okay, so there you have it. You have Chroma key, Keyframe, and what was the last one again? Crud. My brain just went do. Chroma key, keyframe, and how do we get to exporting? Oh, shadows. Right, a light motion. Okay, so we're going to a light motion. I'm going to show you how to actually make shadows. I don't know if most of you are think you guys know how to make shadows yet, but the only way really is to use a light motion. Now, it's 12 o'clock, and as I always say, because it's 12 o'clock, most of you guys need to go. I can stay and show how to make shadows on a light motion, or I can save it till the next lesson. So hang on, let me see what's going on in the chat. Wait. 1 second. Okay, where's everyone? So yeah. Okay. So I can show you now how to make shadows, and then if you still need help, then we can continue with it tomorrow, okay? So let's get on with literally anything. So I've been practicing around, and again, let me just drop in something, anything. So here are my usual settings. Okay, these are my usual settings. Like I said earlier, 1080p, 60 frames per second. I like to keep my background light gray so that I could see everything that spills out of the frame. All right, so let's create that. Now, here's the thing. When you're using the free version of Alight Motion, you have a watermark on the corner, on the side. How do you ditch that? There are two ways to get around this. It's either you make your video smaller to avoid it, or you can make it full frame and trim it later. I prefer to make the video smaller and then trim and then crop than working full frame and trimming, because I sometimes have things hitting the watermark. So I'm gonna do exactly that right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get myself a background and make it slightly smaller than what I already have. Whoopsie. Whoopsies. Nope, not that background. I don't want this background. I want the other background. Yeah. All right, here you go. Backgrounds. Okay, so I like to save backgrounds in the folder so that I could easily get back to them later. And I will use, let's say, I'm gonna use this one. Perfect. I'm gonna use this one over here. And then I'm going to make this proportionally smaller for me to be able to crop out later. And so I tap on Move and Transform right here. And you see this like really odd looking pad. We'll use that later. We go down here first to the resize button down there. And then you resize it smaller, smaller, slightly smaller, even slightly more smaller than that. See, the good thing about this, you can actually see exactly how many pixels you're shrinking it to. That way, you can make everything uniform when you shrink everything else. So I've shrunk it to that. I'm going to now take I'm gonna now tap the moving button, and this is not keyframing. I'm just literally moving the thing to the side. Move it downwards here. I'll move it downwards so that I don't have to deal with the floor later on either. I just crop the top and the bottom. Yeah, top and bottom when I need to crop stuff. Are you okay over there, Vinny? You alright? Okay. So I've gotten my background on the lower right corner. On the lower right corner, so that when I need to crop it out later, I just crop the left and the top, and I don't have to deal with everything else. So there's that. Okay. Now we put humans in. Right? Let's go find a human. So how do we get out of here? Tap anywhere else, like maybe here, wherever. Just don't tap on the timeline. Tap outside. And then there's a plus button down here. Tap that. And then you have the images and blah, blah, blah over there. Tap that. And then you go ahead and find your human, wherever you need to find it from. So I'm going to go find that guy that I had earlier who was walking so that we can have a walking human again. Okay. Where's the other? What is going on with my phone? Okay, I found it. I found a walking human. Okay, he's here. So here's my walking human, right? And you can like either size him first or take out the chroma first, like chroma key him out first. I usually take out the background first so that I could see where to put him. And that's what exactly I'm gonna do. So a light motion is not as straightforward as a lot of the other apps that you guys are familiar with. Over here, it's not a given that you can chroma key. You have to actually go to effects, add effect, and then, well, I've used it a few times. That's why it's here in my recent list. But if it's not here in your recent list, and if it's not scrolling up there, you can find it. You can find it here in matte, mask, or key. Tap on that, and it's right up there. And then tap on standard settings. See, as you can see, there are already blue and green screen options here. But that is for the standard green and standard blue that most people use when they shoot in real life. We're not shooting in real life. So you tap on this one, and as you can see, he still has that green outline on him. And this is the part where you start playing around again with the intensity of how much green would be cleared out from him. And on a light motion, there's no shadow, but instead there's feather. So feather kind of works in an opposite way as shadow. If shadow adds area for you to delete, feather softens the area that you delete. So here's an example. Okay. As you can see, the more I feather, the greener my screen is getting because it's hardening the green that I had earlier. So whatever green I had left on the guy, it's spreading out instead of getting deleted. That's what feather does. It's not like shadow. It's a complete opposite. So you use feather to like help it get softer, but don't over. Let's see if I could put it back to default. What was the default? 0.5. Yeah, that was the default. Okay, so these are the default settings. 0.05, and for threshold, it's 0.1. Threshold is the intensity of how much it eats up the green. So this one, the higher you go, the lesser green that you will see, and slowly it might start eating up your human too. So you have to like watch how far it can go without bleeding into your character. So that's how you make it clean and smooth on a light motion. Usually around like 0.4 would be nice. Yeah, that looks pretty clean enough. Yeah, that looks pretty clean enough. All right. So here's our handsome human right there, smack down the middle of the courtyard. Now, now that we have our Chroma dude, we're going to put shadows because as you can see, there's actually shadow going on at his location where he's at. Again, what do we know about shadows? It's supposed to tell us where the light source is coming from. And in this case, it seems like it's directly above. It seems like the shadow is created by light directly above. So it must be around noon, like around 12 o'clock for this kind of shadow. And when you're creating shadows for other elements that you've put in, other subjects that you've put in, it has to match. You don't create shadows that look like it's sunset, but your background has shadows for 12. So first of all, we can try to keyframe him walking first before we create the shadow. That way, when we duplicate when we duplicate the video, he's already keyframed and we don't need to re-keyframe him to follow the person. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna keyframe him walking from, what does this do? Whoopsie. Okay. So I'm gonna make him smaller coming from here. And then I'm going to tap on my keyframe. Where is that size? So in a light motion, when you keyframe, each and every single thing you have to tap on the diamond thing to keyframe. It's not like other apps that you have one video, put a diamond on it, and then just go around and everything will like follow through. Nope. A light motion, everything is separated. It's very much like, almost very much like working on your computer. So that's the good part of it. When you have to control things, it's easier for you to control because they're separated. So what I'm gonna do now is try to get him to walk from there, coming towards me. So I'm gonna put a keyframe there. And then I'm gonna put a keyframe on him on a much later time. And zoom him in. Wait, give me a second. Let me just stretch out my background so I have a lot of room to work with. Okay. So, okay. So all the way here, I'm going to leave another keyframe here for him. And I'm going to bring him all the way here. About this big. One second. Okay, let me just fix that. Okay. Oh, I see what's happened. Like I told you guys earlier, keyframing on a light motion is every single element, and I've only keyframed just the movement and not the size. So he's only moving, but he's still the same size. Okay, let me just try to fix this a bit. Give me a second. Let me just undo all that. Undo, 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 undo. Oh dear. I'm doing this live. Things happen. Okay, one more time. All right. So, Rini, if you're still there and if you're watching this, it just really takes a lot of practice to sometimes get the timing right, and sometimes to even get the movement right. Um, it can get frustrating when you don't exactly know yet what you're doing, which is absolutely fine. Okay, there you go. So I've moved him here. Okay, I'm moving him again. See, you can see the direction that I want him to go um, when you're moving him. And then there's that. He's good. Okay, so this is what I was saying earlier. I got him to move like this only without actually changing his size. So now I have to go in to fix his size by putting another keyframe just for his size. So here's the start, and then, whoops, what have I done? Here's the start, and then he's a very tall guy. I put it all the way to the end of the other keyframe, which is somewhere about here, somewhere about there. And in a light motion, sometimes you don't even need to press this diamond. You just move it, and it automatically puts the diamond for you. So here I am making him grow proportional to like how big he should be. There you go. So I didn't in a light motion, I didn't even tap this. I just moved the slider to make him grow, and automatically it gave me that diamond over there for the end point. Makes it easier for you too. So let's see if he moves. Okay, let's see if he moves. He moves. Very, very quickly too. But that's fine. We're just doing a sample. So we have that, and he already moves. Now, how do we put the shadow? You tap on this one, which is your original one, and you duplicate it. Duplicate is right here. You tap on this button, and then it says there, duplicate layer. Ding! Now you have 2 layers. I usually prefer to work on whatever is below for the shadow, but some people get confused, so they work on the one on top, and then they move it down to make it a shadow. I suggest if you get confused easily, you see these eyes here on the side. These are visibility buttons. You can make the other one invisible so that you're only working with one of them. Because they're exactly the same layers anyway, with exactly the same elements, components, and keyframing and everything like that, I'm going to work on the one below it so that I don't have to move it down later. And I'm going to make the one on top invisible in the meantime, because I want to show you what happens when I turn this guy into a shadow. So you tap on your timeline, and you gotta turn him dark, black, gray. In short, single color. So there are many ways to do it in a light motion, which I'm still trying. There are ways by using color fill, which is really a bit more complicated. than what it sounds like, because using color fill means you're going to have to learn how to draw around it, around your shadow. And I haven't learned that yet. I'm honest, I haven't gotten there yet. So we'll do the typical way people, make shadows here. You go to effects, ding, add effect, ding. Now again, because I've already used these before, they're all here in the shortcuts, like, in my recent shortcuts. But when you're a new user of a light motion, these aren't here. All this is not here. So the first thing that you're going to look for is brightness and contrast. And that thing is found in color and light. You go to color and light, and you have all the things that you need there. So brightness and contrast is right up here. Just tap on that one. And just take the first one, the normal one. And then you could turn this guy into super darkness by bringing the brightness all the way down to 100% and bringing contrast all the way down as well. There you go. He's really, really dark. Let me just brighten my screen. There. He's really, really dark. Now, there's a downside to doing it this way. If your character or your avatar is very fair-skinned or light-skinned, sometimes bringing down brightness and contrast is not entirely enough. Most of the time it is, but sometimes it's not. So what happens is, like, I've tried it on Koji, and Koji's character is very, very, very fair-skinned. What happens is when I brought it all the way down, it became like I could see like his clothes, his hair, and everything. It's all black, but his face and his hands and his arms weren't black. They were like dark gray. So when you fix the opacity and make it like 50% transparent, you could see the distinction of the hair from the face and the hands and everything and the clothes. Like, it's a bit separate. So there's a downside to it. And like I said, I'm still trying to discover how to offset the color instead and make it 100% black all the way. There is a way. I just need to find it. So anyway, going back to this one, now we've got him with brightness down all the way 100%, contrast down all the way 100%. I also like to use highlights and shadows to make it even darker, just to make sure. So again, it's in my recents here, shortcuts, but it's not always there if you're a new user. And you can find it in the same place over here at color and light. So here it is, right here. Just tap on that one, get the usual settings. And then again, highlights all the way down, shadows all the way down, make it even darker. It's just, fail safe, just in case. So now you have everything down, and now you've got the guy very, very dark. I'm trying to be politically correct with my words here. I don't want to get in trouble. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that when you're going to put this guy on the ground, it's aligned with the human, right? So now we have to make our human covers the shadow. So how do we put the shadow where it has to be? Okay. How do we resize it? you just go to move and transform. 1 second. I can't do this facing the computer. You go to move and transform. And now you've got, whoopsies. Whoopsies again. Okay. Over here at move and transform, apart from your keyframe thing going on over here, it's not, yeah. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, you guys can't see much. I think my phone's too bright. Okay, I've lowered it down. Wait, hang on. All right, I think, okay, there you go. So now you gotta resize the guy. First off, we gotta make the shadow smaller, right? So you just tap on that video or the timeline that you have the shadow in and squeeze it. Make it smaller whatsoever. Here I am. Here's it, getting longer. Here it is, making it smaller. Why am I doing that? Because again, the sun or the light source is directly above. So we gotta make it as small as we can, relevant to the subject, and then putting it underneath the subject so that it would look like it's directly under him. So here I am, I'm just squeezing it as much as I can, as much as I possibly can, and then I'm trying to put it directly under him so that when he walks, it's gonna be like, it's gonna follow. One sec. There's a setting in a light motion that you can choose so that when you resize things, it wouldn't resize from the center. And I am going to fix that right now because it's a bit of a struggle. So that is, where is that? I can't find it. I can't find the settings. I know it's there somewhere. I saw it earlier in the previous project that I was practicing in. And I should be able to fix that, but yeah. So for now, I'm just gonna have to like make do. Okay, so I'm almost done in putting the itty bitty teeny weeny really tiny shadow on this guy. Almost there, almost there, like really almost there, like legit almost there. Come on, work with me here. Where's my pen? I'm dying. All right. Sometimes you just really need to use a stylus, you know. Okay, styluses make everything easier sometimes. I don't know where my other one is. Okay, so now it's like as tiny as I could possibly control it to be at the moment. And now it's directly underneath. I'm gonna switch off this light just so that camera focuses on my phone. All right, and then what I'm gonna do next is to go back to my effects. All right, then go to add effects, and you will find Gaussian blur. Now, Gaussian blur, I don't really know how to say this word. Gaussian blur. Again, it's not usually there on top. You can find it over here in blur. Tap on blur, and you will find it over there. Tap on it. And right now, it's still very sharp. And let's blur that shadow by moving this guy here. Okay, just keep moving it. There you go. As you can see, it's pretty blurred out already underneath them. Right? Okay, that's pretty blurred out. I think that's quite accurate as it is. Okay, let me just... Okay. So there you go. Now, here's the thing. Remember earlier that we've keyframed our main human, the human that we can see, right? So because we keyframed him earlier, our shadow is meant to follow where he goes. And that is exactly what's going to happen right now. Here you go. Of course, again, you can't see. All right, there you go. There's my blurred out shadow below him. And when I play it, he walks with a shadow. Now you will notice that his shadow stretches or grows as he comes closer. That's because perspective. You know, like as people move closer to you, obviously things grow too. Now you can fix that by using keyframes again. That's an easy fix. I could do that right now again. So that it doesn't like grow too much. So I mean, it's okay for it to grow, but sometimes it starts drifting away from the original image, from the character. So you can fix it using the keyframe for it to keep its pace with the original character. So I'm going to do that right now. Fix him up a little bit. Okay, boom, I found the keyframe. Okay, and then size. I'm back here at the keyframe where I was at earlier, and I'm just gonna make that a bit smaller. Instead of being the same size as the original one. I'm also going to move it a little bit so that it will follow more. And whoopsie, I didn't do a very good job. All right. Okay, let's see if it follows better now. Oopsie. Okay. It does follow a bit better now. Yeah. There's still a bit of distance, but okay, here you go. So here he is walking with his shadow. I'm just playing the shadow. Yikes, sorry. My light motion is crashing. There you go. So now he's walking, but then yeah, there's a bit of distance constantly being created between your character and your shadow. And the way to fix that really is to try to time it in every like second, because this is a 5-second clip. So what I do most of the time, even on the computer, is to put a keyframe in intervals and keep matching the shadow or the item or the thing, whatever it is that I'm keyframing, so that it would match up. It's a bit tedious, it's a bit time consuming, it's a bit difficult, but at least if you spend enough time on it, it's going to match up and look good. And so yeah, that's how you put shadows. How do you make angular shadows? Like, what if it's 12, not 12 o'clock? What if it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon? How do you make it angle? So earlier I showed you how to make it like smaller, right? But that's not how you're gonna make it angle. there's a button there called skew. So I'm going to like create another guy, another shadow. Again, by duplicating the original one, I'm gonna hide the 12 o'clock shadow. I'm also going to hide first the original guy. Do exactly the same thing that I did earlier by bringing down the contrast all the way down, bringing brightness all the way down, by bringing down highlights all the way down and shadows all the way down, and then also adding the Gaussian blur off the bat, like right off the bat at 0.1%. What I will also do is change the transparency or opacity of this clip so that it will look more like natural shadow on the ground. And you don't need effects for that because that's right here. So you just tap it right there. And you can now play with the opacity. For shadows, it's usually more standard to use multiply most of the time. It's how do you explain multiply? It's basically placing that that picture or whatsoever that you placed on top and blend, like kind of automatically blends it together. So it's easier to it makes it easier to look natural. See, as compared to if you're just going the normal mode. Normal mode, it looks like a bit chalky, a bit like charcoal, like you smudged charcoal on your background. But if you use multiply, where's that button? If you use multiply, it looks like it blends with your background more. So let's say I'll put my my shadow at 50%. Yeah, that sounds good, right? And then I'm gonna make my human visible again. So there's my human and the shadows directly behind it, right? How do I make it angle? First of all, it depends again where the sun is coming from. Let's imagine that it's afternoon and the sun is coming from his left side. Sorry, his right side, my left. So the angle of the shadow will be this way. So how do we make it look more natural? Where's that? You go here, move and transform, and then there's this like button here, a trapezoid. Is that the right word? Parallelogram. There's this, Rini, don't smack your phone or computer, whatever it is. Okay, so there's this parallelogram, trapezoid, square thing going on here. That is skew. Skew is when you make things twist or bend. As you can see, there's an XY axis over there, and you just kind of play around with that until you're satisfied with the angle that you have. So I'm gonna like play around with this guy and make it, I'm using the X axis right now and making it lie down like so. As you can see, it's twisting that way. I'm currently at, it's disappearing because I'm, yes. So that ain't good. So right now you could like play around with the XY axis and then just keep playing around with it until you're satisfied with the direction of your shadow. Once you're satisfied with the direction of your shadow, you could essentially easily just put it where you want it, quite literally. All right, so we've got it like this now. I've decided to keep it just slightly skewed so that I still have the shape of the head over there. And then I'm going to resize it instead. And make it smaller. And I'm going to turn it, rotate it so that it's going to be on the ground. See, I'm rotating it now. So it's going to be on the ground, flat on the ground, like this. And then I'm going to move it so that the feet of the shadow will match with the feet of my human. So I'm going to just move it right there. Oopsies. Hang on. Okay. So I'm going to move it right there to match his feet. And let's see if that matches up. Nope, it doesn't match up. Oh, yeah. So anyway, your starting point already has it matched up. Okay. Now we go to the end point, and then you try to match that up as well with, again, said feet that is now like somewhere else because you don't see it. 1 second. There you go. And voila, here you go. So now you have him moving with shadow on his feet and the sun coming from his right side. He's moving a bit too fast, but the idea is there. Okay, so that's how you play around with shadows on a light motion. Similar to the color theory discussion that we had the other day, I always tell you to like color grade your stuff to make them all blend. And that also goes the same with your shadows. If you look at your background and your shadow is not gray or not black, try to make the shadow the same color as the shadow that is already available. That way, it will look like it's really part of the scene. It's really done by, it was really done by the character or the avatar in that scene. How can you change the color of your shadow? It's very similar to how you would do it for your photos or for photo editing. Previously, I taught you how to like use hue and things like that, tone and everything like that. It's the same thing when you play with shadow. So here we go. Go to effects again, over here, and then go to add effect again, like this. And then you can now go to color and light and look for what you need. So if you need it to like change color temperature or just change color altogether, you have a lot of options on how to change it. And you can, I'm just going to use color temperature, use standard settings, and I'm just going to change the temperature altogether, make it a bit more yellow, like that. I think that's as yellow as it can get. For your video, how natural you want your video to be. So yeah, there you have. Oh wait, here's hue shift. This is what I was teaching some of you to change the color of your shadow on when you're doing your photo edits. So hue shift does change the color also a bit. And in this case, it's not really doing much either for her shadow over here. But yeah, just play around and see what you can do to get the color out of it. It's probably not doing anything because remember we brought everything down to like -100. So our like highlights and shadows and everything else, it's just literally black now. So yeah. Anyway, that's it for tonight. I think we smashed through all of it. We've done chroma key. Well, we've done audio, looking for backgrounds, chroma key, keyframe, and shadows. And I will drop the next task. I told you it's going to be tight. It's going to be really, really tight. Next task is all about audio. So don't worry, y'all not going to be doing shadows yet for the next task, because the next task I will drop it tomorrow. It's going to be very easy. I'll drop the task in classroom chat so that I can explain it further and I won't announce it here. And yes, it will be very tight. See, what happened to us was our first 2 weeks was overextended because of a lot of issues. First week was overextended, thrown to the second week. And by the time we were at the second week, we had other technical difficulties, not to mention that there were a lot of questions about stuff that, I don't blame most of my mentees for, because really talking about content creation and what content creation is all about, it's a lot of, a lot of brain work, a lot of theory, more than actual, hands-on doing stuff. So it's okay. We're trying to catch up now. Third week, there was some trouble there too. So we're on our last week together, and I'm trying to cram everything so that you guys can make an awesome video before graduation. It's possible, it's doable. So I'm going to drop the next task that's all about audio in the classroom chat. And if you guys have any questions, don't forget to drop your questions in the classroom chat and not in the cafeteria chat, and not just directly DMing it to me. Because most of the time, when one of you asks something, everybody else has the same question. And yeah, I'm an oink oink. So yeah, I'm going to drop that that task very soon. I'm going to type it up first. Still quite early. It's not yet even 1 o'clock in the morning. We're ending quite early today. So there you go. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And my dear, falling asleep and napping in the middle of class is really a you problem more than my problem. So you could just watch this video again later. That's why we're doing it on YouTube, so that it automatically uploads after, and whoever missed out on the class can just go through the whole video by themselves and catch up with the discussions without me having to repeat myself about 15 times over. So it probably didn't show before because I only placed up the links in band, and you won't be able to find it if you go to my YouTube channel. You have to click on the link in band. Now though, it should be available for public viewing, which I'm not going to keep public forever. So since yesterday, my videos of lesson 4 and lesson 5 are already available for public viewing, and literally just anyone can watch me look like a fool talking to myself with no background music. I'm not sure why it doesn't show for you. Maybe you need to like clear your cache and reset. But now you should be able to. Oh, Rini, come on, you're one of them. You're one of them laughing at me right now. You're making me. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right. So yeah, starting this video and like the 2 previous videos, it should be available for public viewing now. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions in our classroom chat. I'll do my best to answer them soon, as quickly as I can. If you have any other questions that have not yet been discussed or that will be discussed, you could still ask them. I'll still answer them. And I will still discuss them in the next following sessions, lessons. We have a lot more to go. So, yeah. All right. So I'll see you guys in the classroom chat. Again, don't ask it in cafeteria so that notifications will come off. I mean, go off. Notifications will go off for most people. Can you end the live with a song? No, I don't sing. I really don't. I can end it with sipping my coffee. Yeah. Yes. Answer you with what? What was your question? If you're asking me about you accidentally taking a nap and if I could recap for you, you can just watch the video later. I'm not going to do a live recap. Any other questions that I could answer now? Preferably appropriate ones, please. Okay, if there are no more questions, then hi, Rini. Then yeah, I'm going to end this live now and we will continue again tomorrow at the same time. Okay, if you can't remember any of your questions anymore, just ask me in the classroom chat. And okay, so yeah, I'm gonna end this one. I don't know who the third person is who's been viewing our class, but whoever that is, yeah, let me know if you're there. Like I said, don't spam my DM. Spam it in the classroom chat so that in case your question has been asked or will be asked by someone else, at least they don't have to ask it anymore because I've already answered it. So yes. Yeah, I can't see who the third person is. It's so unfortunate. That's the trouble with these things. Okay, so I'm gonna end this. See you guys in classroom chat and prepare for the task. It's all about audio. So there's no shadow, no keyframing, no chroma keying things involved yet. It's all about audio. So if you want to practice before the next task, yeah. Download the Light Motion and start practicing. All right, guys. See you in the classroom chat. Bye. How do you end this thing? Okay, it has to end at some point. I'm tapping it. Okay. Oh, okay. There you go. Bye.